What is going on, folks? Welcome back to the Pulse. My name is Matt. This is the emergency pump stream. Okay, if you want to feel good about what's going on, because we're in the midst, like the world is burning. And what do we got? We got a pump. And you know what? I just felt like I needed to kick it old school. I haven't had this kind of reason to be excited in a long time. So I want you to like, share. I want you to share this. Like, please retweet this if you have the X Twitter, right? Because folks, I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna pump you up. Why? Because why not? Why not? It's nice to see a little bit of daylight occasionally. And I was so down. I was watching this war unfold, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then this happens. And I'm gonna share with you a unique perspective on why I think this is all pumping. And I'm gonna give you so much hopium. Literally, you're gonna get a big old shot of hopium and just a reminder of what things were like. What things were like. I'm not giving you financial advice. I just am here to encourage you. That's the whole point of this thing. I'm in a good mood because I'm seeing green candles, and I know that green candles are the key to everything. And you know what? Everyone has a responsibility. And if I can bring the heat, I might as well bring the heat. So I'm going to bring the heat. Folks, thank you for being here. You sense something's going on, don't you? You see something that's going on. You're like, man, I need some good news. We've had bad news for so long. Is this it? Is this it? Is this potentially it? And it's cool to see it on the EHEX side, right? Oh my goodness, folks. You know what? You don't come here for TA. You come here to be reminded of the fact that we will win together. And that's what this is about. And so, you know what? I think it's so important that we celebrate even the smallest of things. And that's what we're going to do today. So please, if anyone needs some encouragement, send this to them. Send them to them. They will be pumped up. Queso, what's up? Pump it up. Good evening, Hexicans. Crypto Compassion in the house. Let's go. And you know what? Crypto Compassion's been here since the beginning. I even put a little pink in this one because I wanted to spice it up and remind you that remember the days? Remember the days when it was so exciting? This is the kind of things that's like getting a taste of it again. Because you know what? It's so hard to be beat down for so long. But you know what? There's always, always tomorrow. And folks, I want to tell you, with everything that's going on, it's so cool to see this. And I'm going to make an interesting case of why I think it's going on and why I think, well, why you're going to hear why I'm bullish. Number one on Hex, right? That's what brought me here. I'm going to dance with the one that brought me, right? Hex is the reason I got into this whole thing. And I'm going to tell you what, this is an exciting time, and there's so many potential things that could be happening here. So we'll break those things down here in a second. Godfather J6, what's going on? David Lee, all the way from southwestern Indiana. He is excited with the love, the fire, and the rockets. Right? Let's to the moon. I'm going to do a special stream at 3 o'clock today, so you're going to get doubled up on me today. We're doing a special stream about the Texicon, and there's a little Easter egg that's going to be in that video that you're going to want to pay attention to as it relates to the Texan token. Robert Keller, what's going on? What's up? MT Corner coming out of the woodwork. Good day, Crypto Heartbeat. Good to see you. LFG, you rock, Matt. Element Hex. We need people to just bring the energy, right? Tomorrow on the Pulse, we're going to have Whitney Magic. Do you want to talk about somebody who will make you feel good, who's got the energy, if you know what I'm saying? You do not want to miss that one. She is an up and coming super talent in our community. And I want you to meet her because I want to meet her, honestly, because she's just got you've seen her. You've seen her out there on Twitter. You've seen her, talking right to the camera. She's got the energy. We're going to bring that tomorrow as well. It's going to be super cool. I just love seeing new people in the community and just it's the new pledge class, folks. The new pledge class for the bull run. Let's do it. Like I'm the rush chairman. Damn glad to meet you. Let's go. Taryn, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Where is the pump? I see no pump. All right. Let me see. You see no pump. Let's look at watch. Let's do this. Man, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. Think about that for a second. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Attitude is everything, folks. And you know what I love about this community is it attracts a group of people who are optimistic, sometimes naive. But you know what? We got some cards up our sleeve. We got some people in the background that are doing some amazing things. And so when you look at this chart, and I'm not the guy you look at charts with, but I know what love is. I know what a pump looks like. And you know what? It's interesting. It's amazing to see these type of things. So if we back out from this and you kind of look at where have we been? What have things looked like? I mean, I just want you to see this for what it is. I don't know what it means. I don't know the future. Is this the bottom? Whatever it means. The point I'm making though is it's something and we should celebrate anything, right? I think about young dads, right? I was a young dad once. My daughter is going to be 18 years old tomorrow. But I remember the pooping on the potty. You know what I'm saying? If you're a dad out there, plus one in the chat for the dads who have had to do potty training, you celebrate everything. And here's the thing, I got to celebrate this. I have to because it gave me the feeling that I had when I started my channel. I started the channel October 1st, 2 years ago. And I'm going to tell you what, the excitement was in the air. And we got to meet all great people like Rags and Crypto Panda and all of the wonderful people out there. I mean, the new friends that I have in the last 2 years has just been a super blessing to me in the things that we've done. And you know what fuels that? It fuels that is people like David Lee giving you a big old hug, coming to events, coming to your dad's funeral, whatever it may be. And folks, this is it. If you don't celebrate these things, you don't realize how much value is in the community, right? What's the benefit of having money if you don't have anybody to play with? Am I right? I mean, think about that. What makes it worthwhile? You want to journey together. And I think that if you've been in any relationships or a family or you're married, you got kids, you go through ups and downs, right? You have to reflect on things and you have to have the proper perspective. We're making a series of choices every single day. And the attitude that we've got is really all we've got, this ability to control our own minds. So let's control our own minds. And today, I want to encourage you to be encouraged. That's what this is all about. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that, Hex Glenn. We are bringing the excitement and energy to the table today. Taryn, what's going on? David Lee with the love. Rem74, thanks. It's so great to see new people coming in. You get this excitement. You see what's going on, and you're just like, all right, hey, do I know? Do I have a crystal ball? Do I know the future? No. But I know what love is, right? I know what this is. Crypto Gains Club 369, Liberty or Death, Emergency Pump. Jesus is pumping my heart. Let's go. Hexcited is in the house. Robert Keller, EHEX is almost up 24%. It was up as much as 33% today. And that was on top of yesterday's pump, which is incredible. All his glory. There you go. Texan Pinoy at 50. Nice. Good morning to you. +1. Pooping on the potty. You know what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Number one for the daddy-os. Oh my gosh, and it's so funny. It's so true though. You're like, yes, you did it. You did it. How awesome is it to have a dad who is helping you make things work in your life? Magnus, what's going on? All right, folks. So let's get into this. So this is the Hex wrapped ETH pair. I'm not doing any TA on this. I'm just saying to you, what's the pump all about? It's this volume. What do we have in the last 24 hours? 23% up. We've got, we've got all kinds of people that are looking at, taking profits on this, right? We've got people who are, they're excited. There's a change, there's a shift in the air. I want to talk to you about why I think a number of these things are turning, and we've got some good leading indicators besides just this Hex pump. I was excited because this is like the origin story of Crypto Heartbeat. I was watching a television program on that thing called a television, if you can believe it. And it was cable TV. And you're like, what's cable TV, Crypto Heartbeat? 2 a.m. And I see this ad for Hex. And it says, I thought it was a network marketing thing. I thought it was like an MLM. And what was it? It was like this. It was actually Richard Hart did the voiceover for it. And it was a TV ad that somebody bought in the middle of the night, the cheapest time. And I'm up, I can't sleep. And it's like, do you want to be rich? I'm like, okay, you got my attention. So I look it up online and it's hex.com. And I start watching The Hexologist. That's what I started doing. I started watching Hexo. And if it wasn't for Hexo, I wouldn't be here. And a lot of other people. But see, that's the important thing about people coming out and just you know what? I thought about it earlier. I was like, saw this pump. I was excited. I was talking to Ray, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do an emergency pump stream. Why? Because you're excited. Why not have some other people in the chat or wherever it may be and go, you know what? Maybe this is the beginning of something exciting. Well, here's the crazy thing. Well, what are we down? If you look at today's price, Hex is down, what, 86%? Remember, I just want to remind you of where we have been. So when I got into Hex, it was 2 days before big payday. And then it took the biggest dump it could possibly take right after that. And then people just kept on going. I remember there were celebrations there, top hats on, big payday, all that kind of stuff. And folks, it marched all the way to 52 cents. And if you think about where we are, we've got Ray Dalio and we got all these BlackRock people and all the stuff about Bitcoin ETFs. We see this Cointelegraph the other day doing this scammer post that the ETF is live, and we see it, Bitcoin go to 30,000. People are ready. They're ready for something to change. And then you look out in the world and you're like, everyone's fighting. The embassy in Lebanon, the US embassy in Lebanon is on fire. And you think about all the things that are going on in the world between Hamas and Israel and Hezbollah and Iran and Syria. And it's crazy, folks. And the things they're doing, well, what does this mean? And then we got elections coming up. This is the time, the cycles. And you know what? It's like, when do you get into things, right? I don't know if this is the bottom and here we go and off to the races, right? But the point I'm making is there's so many leading indicators that crypto isn't going away, folks. I mean, think about the people who believed in this back in 2012. You don't have to do that. Everyone's coming around and showing you that crypto is here to stay. And so I created a little image. It's not really a meme. I guess it's a meme. I'm not the greatest meme creator. I'm old man. But let me share with you something that I created. And I want to, it proves a point. So I'm gonna present this to you. I think I am. I'm gonna bring it up on my screen and I'm gonna share this with you because this is how I feel about the big vision of what is happening and what is at stake and what could potentially happen, folks. What could potentially happen and what is the vision around it? So let's open this up and let's show you. Let me show you what I'm thinking. All right, present, share screen. Window, boom. All right, check this out. All right, let's see. All right, so here we are. We got this image. Got money in the background, right? Money out of government, government out of money. This works on like 50 different levels. We got to get the money out of government, meaning the opportunity that we have right now, this is the promise of Bitcoin, this is the promise of decentralized finance, is that money is out of government, meaning they don't have control. Centralized players, money is in governments, right? Governments control money. This is the first time in human history where political power and financial power can be separated. We, in agreement, say we are going to use our own money. What's this excitement about the pump and all this stuff about? It's really this opportunity where individual people working together in community and communicating can literally decree their own value and separate the money, get the money out of government. Is the government doing what you think they should be doing by spending $100 billion in the Ukraine? And now I'm sure billions and billions for Israel. That's what they're doing with their money, right? And look at the people around us. Look at our cities. Right? This is not, if you think about it, what's the whole purpose? And I was so stunned. I listened to the King of Jordan. He came in. You know what he said the red line was for him in Jordan? He said, Palestinian refugees. We will not take any of them. This is Jordan. Jordan will not take any Palestinian refugees. It's like, hold on, our woke culture here, we're all like, oh, signaling, we'll take refugees and all this. You know why they won't take refugees? Because in 1970, they took them. And you know what ended up happening? They almost overthrew their government. And it's interesting when you start seeing these things of what's going on, is that, folks, this is an opportunity and you got to see it for what it is. The world is changing. And so just as, the King of Jordan, Why is he doing this? Because he's saying, I was put in this position to protect my people, and I don't want to have a situation which my people are in danger. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what he said. Well, isn't that how it's supposed to be? Look at America. Isn't this for and by the people? Isn't it like, well, we created this government so that it would protect us and provide with some basic things like some protection and right? We didn't create it so that it can ship all of our money everywhere. Now, here's what's happening. This image represents what I believe we are doing in the macro in the pulse chain. We're getting the money out of government. And of course, the government is out of money, right? They keep printing it. But we need to get the government out of money and the money out of government. How do we do that? We bypass the whole thing. That's the whole point of this. But we can't bypass the whole thing unless we're working together. Just can't. And so, folks, when I emergency pump stream it here, what do I want to tell you? I want to tell you that this isn't going away and it's going to go through another cycle and it's going to become mainstream. And I want to remind you of that fact. It's been so difficult to try to basically, stimulate something and just go, hey, it's going to be okay. We need to bear each other's burdens together. But folks, this is the beginning. We know the Bitcoin halving is coming. I shared some information from Raoul Pal about the macro cycle, about all of this debt being refinanced. We're in this situation where there's only one lever to pull, and that is to lower rates and to turn the money printer back on. But this is unsustainable. It's literally, it's a train wreck in slow motion. We're watching it. So what's the hope? You take a portion of your own creative ability. You know what it's called? It's your private property. It's called your labor, and it's an extension of you. All we do is we give you money, right? Whatever that money is, and it represents a part of you. You have creative ability, and all currency is a representation of the only thing that exists, and that's human labor. Human labor turns into goods and services. But at the end of the day, it's an extension of you. So you drive a truck, they pay you by the mile of the hour. You put it in the bank account. You don't really see it sometimes because it's, direct deposit. What does it do? You go to the cash machine, you get out some money, and you buy yourself, I don't know, what do you buy yourself? A Coca-Cola, whatever it is that you buy. It's an extension of you. So what do? You're like, well, I saw this ad on TV and I put a couple bucks into this thing called Hex. And what you didn't realize is that this was an immutable contract on the blockchain. And you have a leader who's like, hey guys, the reason that crypto was invented was to remove counterparty risk. Get these government people, these middlemen out of the middle. Well, what does that mean? Well, if I know that this can't change, or I at least know that it's consistent, right? That the inflation rate's consistent, the T-share, all that stuff. Hold on a second. So if I bring my value, which is an extension of me, and you bring your value, which is an extension of you, into this location, this place, this immutable contract, there's a better chance it's going to preserve its value there than if it is constantly degraded or debased. And that's the thing that we're seeing, right? I mean, I watch every week. My wife goes to the grocery store and I see that number continue to creep up. Right? I think it was like $360 this time for 1 week's worth of groceries. It's going to constantly be doing that, right? Because this debt just to service it. And that's the rise and fall of empires, is that people do not pay back their sovereign debt. So what is the opportunity that we have in front of us, and what does this represent, and why am I so excited? Is because this is the catalyst for us getting the money out of government and the government out of money. We're going to go direct. This is the whole play. You and me are going to agree on what? The value. We're going to agree. We're going to put our proxies for labor together in an immutable contract on the blockchain. The people are going to be like, what do you mean you're not using our money? No, we're not using your money. I put it somewhere where it was going to preserve it. Some people are into Bitcoin, some people are into this. At the end of the day, I think all the powers that be, the big boys, right? This whole BlackRock thing, right? The whole ETF, the whole taking over of Bitcoin, and then the compromising of Ethereum. I believe all of these other chains and all of these other leaders, they're just going to flash money in front of them, and basically they're just going to take them over, right? They're going to compromise them. But we have a leader in Richard Hart who's pushing back on the SEC, who's smarter than just everyone. And what are we going to see? Well, I think it's going to take supernatural miracles, but I do truly believe that we're going to get clarity on this, and there will be a day in the future, right? Imagine this day. Let's just paint this picture. Imagine a day when you get a notification on X, and it's from Richard Hart Wynn, and he's like, "Hey, folks, I haven't been live in a while. I'm going live. There will be a day." And there will be many, many things that precede that. But there may be a candelabra and it may be lit. What is the goal? I sat down with Richard Hart and he said, "Hey, it's about the people. The legacy is the community. That's us, folks. We don't stick together and understand that we have all the power and we always have because we are the ones who are sovereign. Sovereignty is in us. It's not in the government. We've given away our authority to the government. We said, oh, we got to come underneath the authority of the government. No, you don't. We find these things to be self evident. These are rights that are given to us by a creator, not by the state. And we've circumvented that. We've come underneath the authority of this and say, like, well, they give me my rights. No, the government doesn't give you your rights. And so now we have this tool, which is the money. And we literally can choose our own destiny if we work together. And that's the whole shooting match, all wrapped up in one. That's what it's all about. And so when I see a pump in EHEX, right? And I literally, you know what was the catalyst for this emergency pump stream? Is I took a screenshot on my phone and I haven't done that in like years. And I sent it to Ray and I'm like, Ray, look, it's 33% up. It's a data point. Do I know the future? No. Am I glad that it's green? Yes. But we have to understand that that's what this thing is all about. It's about the excitement. It's about people talking about it, right? Why? Because everybody wants to be on a winning team. So I'm going to make the strongest case I can of why Pulse Chain and Hex and all of the things that are being built on this layer one is the key to the future. If you think for a moment that Richard Hart doesn't have access to resources, you are mistaken. Okay, so number one, Richard Hart was rich prior to all of this. Okay, there's a pretty good indication that the guy's sitting on over $1 billion in crypto that had nothing to do with the sacrifice. So I'm just going to say this. Let's keep it simple. Richard Hart is a billionaire prior to the sacrifices, right? So he doesn't consider that his money. It's sitting in a wallet, right? It hasn't been touched. Okay. He's getting yield. He knows what he's doing. Okay. He's fighting the SEC. He's got the resources to do it and the intellect and likely the attorneys. I don't know any detail beyond that, but I believe that part of the glory, right? Richard Hart says, I want the glory. Part of the glory is proving that crypto is speech. That's the key to this whole thing. In my opinion, this whole freedom of speech thing, which we thought was just some, oh, well, we're sacrificing for freedom of speech, like some excuse to get around, an ICO. Not the case. Not the case. He saw this way ahead of you and me, that this is actually a battle for the ownership of your own personal sovereignty, which is your ability to click the button. Why do you think Hex was set up the way it was? You mint your own rewards. The same thing is true. I believe that what's going to happen is when you write to the blockchain, it is your speech, because there's so many precedents related to that. And Richard's pointed this out. If you write a book, you own the book. That's you. You're the author, right? You post to something and that's your words. You're responsible for those, right? You are communicating. You have this right to free speech. At least we thought you did. But we've also seen precedent on computer code being that. So whether you know how to code in Solidity or not is irrelevant. The fact that you use a computer program, you pay the gas fee and you do the work and you write to something, it writes to the blockchain. And keep this in mind, you don't have any crypto. You have keys that give you access. And that value is actually sitting on chain, at least in this kind of EVMs world. And so what's so incredible about this is that everything is changing. And if you don't realize the power that we have together, this is it. Richard is actually the Pulse chain, and what Hex represents and what he represents is preserving why cryptocurrency was invented in the first place, to remove counterparty risk. And that's what he's doing. And that's what this is all about. And the cool thing is you can win with him. That's the thing I see. So we win together. When you consider others in addition to yourself, we all win. Let's win together. Are you up to that? Richard said in his last tweet, we will win. Well, let's win. How do we win? Let's work together. Remember Wall Street Bets? Remember they squeezed all those hedge fund guys for billions of dollars? Why? Because they held the line, they worked together. It was like a compassion cartel. It was a group of people that worked together to push back on the system. Hey, folks, if they're going to use their levers, let's use ours. And what is it? It's us in community caring for one another. The core of it is love for one another, your fellow man. So I have to consider others in addition to myself, and we all win. Yes. They gave the Nobel Prize to John Nash. You know the guy, the schizophrenic guy? Yeah, the movie A Beautiful Mind was made out of it. What was it about? What was his contribution to game theory? It's called the Nash equilibrium. And at the core of it is win-win. If I consider what's better for you and for me, we both win. That's what this whole thing's about. That's why Metcalfe's law, the communication, the square, all of this stuff of the growth of the community is the key to it. But what do the centralized players want? We don't want you to control because we're not used to having the money outside of our control. And so what is the whole point of this? Let's get the money out of government and the government out of money. Well, how do we do that? We follow this inspiration that came from the very beginning from the cypherpunks, which is they thought it was peer-to-peer digital cash, but at the end of the day, it's the storing of personal labor. That's what we're doing. We're storing our personal labor in a different place. Because if you put that in US dollars and you put that in the bank in fiat, guess what? Now, this is super volatile, right? That's the risk you take for having this best performing asset. But the reason that you're paying attention is because there are mad gains. If there are no mad gains, this would be like your 401k. If there were no mad gains, this would be like, I don't know, the Vanguard fund. It'd be a mutual fund. This isn't a mutual fund. We're mutually having fun. That's the whole point, right? Community, communication, and an opportunity to change the system. But if you don't realize what your contribution is, we got to work together. Believe me, folks, we're in the same foxhole in this one. So don't point a gun at your neighbor. Don't point a gun at your neighbor. And that's what I love about Green Candles so much. Green Candles give us the opportunity to have some optimism and not look at our friend in the foxhole and put a gun to his head. Because you know what? We need to be looking out forward and recognizing why we're here. And to me, Richard Hart is not going to compromise his principles because he wants the glory. He doesn't need the money. If he needed the money, he would have disappeared to some island, right? If money was all it was about, but he says it's about glory. And you know what? I'm so thankful for that, even though it's a challenge, right? It's like, well, I don't know that I agree with outrage marketing. Well, let me make a point. If it wasn't for outrage marketing and twerking, which I would never do, although some people might pay for that, the fact of the matter is that's what got him the attention to get his hand slapped. And without getting your hand slapped and getting the attention, you don't have the opportunity to show them the way and make the case. Because everybody else is compromised, in my opinion. Everybody else has got something. And the purity of this thing is it's one guy, a mutable contract in the blockchain. If he goes away, it stays there. And then this infrastructure of a properly decentralized layer one in the Pulse chain. And then a DEX like PulseX. Hey, folks, the beauty of this is every time I was talking to people back when like Hex was at 40 cents, they're like, man, I wish I would have got in when it was low. It's low. It's low right now, by the way. So think about this for a second. Do you think if you had a baby, let's say you had a baby, right? We're talking about pooping on the potty. Let's say you have a baby. Do you love the baby? Yeah. Yeah. It looks like you. Yeah. It's vulnerable, right? Soft, sweet, cries a little bit, kind of stinky. But at the end of the day, you love that baby. That's Hex for Richard Hart. That's his baby, right? Do you think he's going to sacrifice his baby on the altar of centralized players? SEC? No. You will do anything you possibly can to protect your baby. Well, there's a lot of people that understand that what's at stake here isn't just Richard Hart getting the glory. It's all of us working together and winning together. So do you think all these whales, do you think all these OGs, all these people that have resources are going to be like, yeah, we'll just let it fail? No, the beauty of this thing and the fact that it's got the OA and all of this is the fact that, in my opinion, Hex is going to do incredibly well. Why? because we have someone who is nurturing this child, and we have a lot of people who care about it. Look at this community, right? So that's the thing I want to reiterate. You danced with the one that brought you. I'm here because of Hex. And you know what? I listened to Richard Hart and I went, hold on, this guy's a guy of a voice in the wilderness. Hold on a second. He's gonna fork Ethereum. Hey, it took a long time. But you know what? Good things come to those who wait. And here we are. I see this little glimpse of light and I'm like, let's go. Does it mean it's going to go straight up parabolic? No, it's not. But the point is that it has to end at some point. And all these indicators and all of these things and all of this turmoil in the world, you know what? It's like there's only one note that the centralized parties can play because this thing has degraded so much and it's ready to fail. And so what do they do to try to keep this thing up on its feet? Pull the only lever they can, and that's printing the money. And what happened the last time they printed the money during the Charlie 19? To the moon. So the opportunity here is incredible because you get pinned against the wall with all this debt. And so there's no other thing that they can do. And then you've got all this war going on and uncertainty in the world. And it's like, hold on a second. Let the damn thing burn. We're creating digital nations. That's our community that we're building together. We're tokenizing the future. We need to get the money out of government, the government out of money. Well, they're already out of money, but they're going to keep on printing it until we say no. And we're going to say no. I say no. We're going to decree our own value. And that's what Richard Hart has done for us. He said, this is the value. But wherever you put it, whatever horse you ride, you have to put your proxy for labor, a piece of you, into that. I'd much rather put it into an immutable contract on the blockchain that I know isn't going to change because somebody that's in the Federal Reserve has different thoughts about whose border they ought to protect. You are you paying attention? This is big stuff. But folks, it takes something like this to remind us, like, let's go. Let's go. This is the exciting time. But I'm going to tell you, I am all in on the Richard Hart ecosystem. Why? Is it because of Richard Hart and his personality and his ability to twerk and whatever it may be, right? Watches and Lambos? No, 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 no. It's about truth. And I don't mean Richard Hart speaking the truth. I mean truth. What is true? We are the sovereigns. We are the ones that have rights that are given to us by a creator. And those are inalienable. No government supersedes your rights. And so we are recreating this whole thing. Why are we into Texas independence? Why are we supporting this? Because, folks, this is where it's going. And I think that's the beauty of the redemption of the story. It's like, well, why'd you do that deal? Why'd you do that Texan token thing? Because we saw what was coming. Right now, you're like, well, yeah, bear market and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing, folks. This whole, I mean, just look politically what's happening, right? This populist, nationalist kind of, fervor around the world. It's like, yeah, why are we shipping all this stuff out? This is the cycle. And what ends up happening is the balkanization of the United States of America. People are going to have enough of this because guess what's going to happen? Besides the fact that 260,000 people came across the southern border in Texas, is that what is going to end up happening is those that run our government right now are going to keep that thing as open wide as they possibly can because they think they're going to change the demographic to get everybody to vote Democrat and they will just have this constant winning. But what they don't realize is what they're bringing into this country because they're going to bring all the Palestinian and all the people, the Hamas and all these people in. That's the whole point. And that's part of their strategy too, is that how would they get their ideology across? It's go in and invade. And what are we going to do? We're just literally setting ourselves up for instability and no security. And what ends up happening is the people go, stop messing with my kids and my money. And they're fed up. I think Texas independence is ultimately going to be over this border issue. But folks, we got all the leading indicators. So you might be like, I don't care about politics. I just care about the number going up. Okay, come on along. But where do good people go? But where are you going to go? Right? Right. What's the point of being rich if you don't have people to play with? And I mean that. And then what happens when you've got an abundance? How should we recreate this thing? What should it look like? And that's why I support Texas independence, not so that it's some, libertarian paradise, but that so people actually are treated fairly. I mean, people should have a seat at the table. At the end of the day, this has been hijacked and it is rotting from within and it is going to fall apart. The question is, are we going to have an alternative? And we're going to stay in the line and support those things? Because here's the thing, it's going to bless and protect so many people in the future. What we're building today will bless and protect people in the future. We are empowering we are animating this tool for good. Vision. Without vision, the people perish. We've got leadership. We have vision. We have people standing up for us. If you have not gone into the SEC tool that was created to give your feedback and to participate, you've got to do that ASAP. What, 10 days left? Come on, folks. This is way beyond Richard Hart winning a case. This is about our ultimate sovereignty and pushback, and to say, nope, nope. We are the ones who created this system, and you will come under our authority, not the other way around. So, folks, are we seeing the future? Do we have hope? Yeah. Because what's the alternative? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's the thing. What's your attitude you got? And I think about that. It's like whenever anyone's complaining, or let's say I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. If you're just feeling down and everything, you feel like a victim, everything's stacked against you. You got to be reminded, no matter who you are, especially if you're in the Western world, how good you have it. And you have to get a better and a different perspective. And it's really important. And that starts with your own attitude. And that's where faith comes in for me. I'm just like, show me the things. And it's just a recollection. One of the things that the Jews do is they have the Passover meal. Why do they do the Passover meal? Why do they have all the festivals? It's because they want to remind themselves how they were delivered, right? We got to remind ourselves, oh yeah, so things aren't really that bad. And I do have blessing. And wow, these kids I've got it, or whatever it may be. The whole counting your blessings things. Yeah, that's important stuff. We got each other. We got this community, whatever it may be. Do not give up and do not nuke your account, right? The people that have won in the past, I got to meet them and I got to interview them. And my channel is just riddled with OG hexagons. And I literally have just been so interested in understanding that. But to see all of these folks be winners, we look in retrospect and we're like, look at this genius. And it's not that they were genius, but they were willing to take this risk and they had to, they saw something. Here's the thing. Do you realize there's people that have no idea that they're going to be in crypto in the next 6 months? And they will be. Think about all that you've gone through and what you understand now because you've gone through this. They have not understood what a crypto bear market looks like. You have an advantage. How do you shepherd those people along? How do you encourage them? How do you welcome them into this community? That's what I love about this community. You go to an event like TexitCon, we're going to be talking about at 3:00. And there's going to be some really cool things I'm going to share with you at 3. So you not want to miss that one. Is that people are high-fiving. I think what we're doing in Waco in November 10th through 12th, is so significant for the times that we live in, not only with crypto, not only with Texas independence, not only with, all of these things that are going on in the world. It's pivotal. This is it. Regular people working together in agreement and winning together. And what does that mean? Winning is different for everyone. Winning to you might be like, get the money. Winning to my wife is different. It's about protecting the family or institutions. We have to understand that everyone is welcome. But you know what? We got to work together. But this future, to me, I never, ever imagined when I was a kid that we would have an opportunity in technology that's actually in the hands of the people. And I'm going to give you an example. I met a guy in the Philippines. We were doing this thing with Ophir Crypto. And he was one of these big power player rich guys. And you know what he did? He wanted to do something in crypto and he wanted it to be, he wanted his, one ring to rule them all. He wanted his thing to win. And you know what he said? And he didn't realize he was saying this because it sounded so almost evil. He's like, "Yeah, I made buddies with the religious leaders because I know those religious people are stupid." Basically what he said. He's like, "I'm using them because I know that without their agreement, we don't get adoption." Do you realize that that's what we have here? It's the thing that anyone who's a centralized player does not have. They do not have the ability to build the community. Because if they really were honest with people, and that's what it takes to build community, authenticity, if they were really honest, no one would join them. Not a single person. If they were really honest about what they're doing. So they have to lie. We have the beauty of truth on our side. Freedom, sovereignty, all of these things, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, to transact, freedom of privacy. We have those things on our side because it's what's better for the civilized society is when people leave you alone, right? And you have the resources. We're so used to scarcity. This is the opportunity for abundance, but it requires that we work together. It requires good vision. It requires somebody like Richard Hart who's going, "Hey, I'm going to give you the infrastructure. Are you going to build on it? Are you going to run on these rails?" And look across our community, and everybody's like, "Well, my token's better than this, and mine's orange." Fine. Pick a horse to ride, but realize that we're riding together in the same direction. Like the pulse chain's really important. Why? Because it's not going to be compromised. Right now, you're like, well, everything's kind of similar. No, no, it is not. Because at the end of the day, everyone else that's out there, one, they don't really believe in the true tenets of crypto. They really don't believe in the true tenets in its purest form of DeFi. They're just waiting for the next thing to come along. Hey, let's build our business big enough, and then maybe BlackRock will be our friend, and maybe we can partner with Visa. That's not even in the cards for the Pulse chain, right? Think about this. We celebrate the fact when we're gate kept, right? It's never been listed on an exchange. Folks, those kind of principles and sticking to those kind of principles speak volumes, right? Right now, people are like, "Oh, I don't know the difference. Crypto's all the same thing." Well, then FTX goes down and Luna goes down and Celsius goes down. You're like, "Oh, no, is there some differences in these things?" Yeah, maybe there is. Wait till the whole system breaks down. Where are you going to be able to get trustless yield? Because that's really the insatiable desire of people in finance. Where do I get yield, right? Everybody, where do I get growth, 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 growth? Where do I get yield? In my opinion, the key to DeFi winning is liquidity. We have to have thick enough liquidity. Now, we love thin liquidity because the price goes up so fast when we get a couple of big buys. But the future of this being an alternative to this current financial system is it's got to have thick liquidity because people with real money don't want to come in because they can't get out. And that's the truth of the matter. And so, what am I focused on and what's our team focused on? Bringing a tremendous amount of liquidity into DeFi. It's absolutely critical. Somebody's going to have to do it, and that's what we're going to do. Everybody can make derivative products or NFT marketplaces all they want. We need to bring more money into DeFi, and that needs to get locked in. That's what we need to do. That's the tip of the spear in this whole thing. How do we ensure that this thing is an alternative to the current system? It's got to have enough liquidity, and you got to have confidence because people want a sure thing. Well, what's greater than the T share as a sure thing, right? Or staking, whatever it may be. Folks, slow and steady wins the race. Everybody wants it now. And you know what's incredible is the very nature of crypto is it kind of gave it to you now, right? You didn't have to wait like 50 years and work at the place and maybe get your gold watch at the end. And maybe you were super happy that, you retired when the market was up and maybe you did get your average of 8% a year. Folks, everything is changing. 5% of the population's in crypto. It's going to be 80% at some point in time. I don't want it to be the only option that you have in digital cash is a CBDC. We are a shining city on a hill. And it's not just BS. It's not just, oh, it's a talking point. No, it's real. But it's only real if we defend it. Richard Hart's going to defend it, and you're going to be a part of that. It's a shift. It's an absolute shift in the economic system, one from scarcity to abundance. When I look out into creation and I see things, I'm like, hold on. If I take a kernel of corn and I put it in the ground, right? What ends up happening? It grows a stalk of corn and it's got like 2 ears on it, maybe 3. And I looked this up one time. I was like, "Well, how many kernels of corn are on a ear of corn?" It's like, "Well, it's 816 rows." I'm like, "What? Is it really that literal?" Yeah, so if 2 heads of corn, so I took 1 kernel and I got a 1600 to 1 yield. Oh, yeah, that's where yield comes from, isn't it? That's from farming. So think about this for a second. Do you germinate a seed? Nope, don't know how to do that. Well, do I know the conditions that you get it more right to happen? Yeah, I like I scratch the ground open and then I put the seed in there. So I partner with this earth that we live on, and then some rain and some sunshine. And next thing you know, if I delay my gratification and wait and partner with the very creation, there's an abundance there, 1600 to 1 at minimum. That's the creation we live in. That's the world that we're in. But what have we done? We've amassed for ourselves and created this scarcity, right? And so what are we defending? Right now in our skies, we see around nuclear facilities and all this, a new technology that literally could eliminate it could be complete abundant energy. Why do you think people want to keep that secret? Well, we're protecting national security. Well, maybe you are. But at the end of the day, we're looking at something that literally could change the very nature of human existence. Because if we weren't fighting over energy, do you know how much of this story is about energy? Do you realize that right before Hamas took over Israel, that Benjamin Netanyahu stood in front of the UN and had a big red line coming out of Saudi Arabia all the way through Israel over to Europe to provide oil and gas to them? These whole Abraham Accords, you know what they're based on? Economic development and money. Yeah, yeah. That's what people are doing. We've taken this abundant system here and we've basically said, no, I'm going to, one, not work with it, right? And not help people. But essentially, what I've done is I've enslaved people. And so when I say fiat dollars is backed by the good faith and credit of the United States of America, you know what it actually is? It's you. It's not backed by anything. So that dollar that's a dead instrument, you know what that's representing? You. And so the government is like, hey, I'll just reach into your pocket and take it and spend it over in Ukraine. I'll do whatever I want. And if I don't get it through taxes, I'll get it through inflation. That's called slavery. You are enslaved to a debt and consumer system. And that's what fiat is. Do you want to be a part of the revolution, which is a peaceful revolution of crypto where we use our own money and decree our own value? Well, guess where it's going to happen? It's going to happen on the Pulse chain. Let's go. Let's see who's here. It's an emergency. That's what I have to say. This is an emergency. It's an emergency for us to encourage one another. That's how I see it. You may not see it, so tune out. Go somewhere else. I'm excited. Why am I excited? Because I want to connect this little bit of daylight that cracked through into this dark and dusty room. And I want to basically say, hey, folks, there's hope. And let's remind ourselves why we're here. This isn't just about, oh, yeah, I'm participating in the next bull run. I got a little bit more money, one Lambo. You need to be thankful for gray-haired people like me or Richard Hart or whoever it is who's like, hey, I got kids and hopefully grandkids. Like, I don't want this place to go to hell in a handbasket, and that's exactly where it's going. So what am I going to do to participate in this? Well, the only thing I can do is that the power's in our hands. We got all the tools, we got all the resources, we got all the infrastructure, and we've got the communication networks to do it. Let's go. You have to pick a horse to ride. You have to do your own research. It's not that hard. You can do it. If Sam Kemp can do it, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? You know who Sam Kemp is, right? Let's get back into the chat. I was hoping that Rags would join me. I was hoping. You know what? We can only hope. But maybe if somebody in the chat that has Brandon's cell phone or has him on Telegram, maybe we could guilt him in to coming onto the stream. Because wouldn't it be nice to like cap this whole thing off with a shiny red beard? Right? Because to me, it's a beacon. It's a beacon of hope. It's a representation. So let's see what we can do. All right, I'm freezing up here. So let's do this. Let's stop the cam. Let's start it up again. And let's say hello to the chat. Emergency pump. Jesus is pumping my heart. Oh, yeah, we saw that one. What's up? All right. I got to smell the stinky poo 2 nights ago. He's growing fast. Crypto Gains Club 369, he knows what it's like to poop on the potty. Yeah, you have that little the little potty next to there. Yeah, and you celebrate. You're like, "Woohoo, you did it." Um, Sam Kemp, there he is. Watch the rerun. Appreciate it. DJ Dougie Peach in the house. Vibra Finance CEO. Hey, hey, hey. You're killing it, dude. I see you late nights with Vibra Finance CEO. MT Coiner. I miss those top hat days. They're coming back. Imagine when all this is behind us, MT Coiner. Imagine it. And Richard Hart's back on stream. He's like, let's hope it's humble Richard in his black t-shirt. And he's like, you know what, guys? We've been through a lot together. But folks, we are not going to compromise our principles. Crypto Compassion, many new projects on Pulse Chain launching this month. Absolutely. Got the liquid loans. The time is ticking. They said October. Got about 12 days left. Let's go. Mr. Lee. Let's see who all hey, Bearded Saint is back. What's up, man? Good to see you. Liberty or death to all those in the PLS ecosystem. All the charts look like Hex did around its first cycle bottom. Pulse, PulseX, Texan. These are the times to be brave in DCA. No financial advice here, but people are packing their bags. The people that know what's going on know what's going on. It's not like it is what it is, right? It's hard to pick bottoms and tops, right? But you gotta, see the sign of the times. These are cycles. Question is, what is this next cycle going to look like? But I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that there's something to talk about other than war. There's something to talk about, which is community and love and care for one another. That's what we're doing here, folks. No, it's a pump. Mr. Beach is in the house. As above is so below. Thank you, Mr. Crypto Heartbeat. You're the man of integrity. Hey, that's all we've got, right? All we've got is our reputation, authenticity, who we are. I'm just one beggar helping another beggar find food, right? This is an abundant system that we're in. We need to partner with the creation and we need to go. Let's go. Axie's alive. Holy buckets. If you want to see one of the greatest interviews of my entire streaming career, you need to listen to Axie's Alive. That guy is an absolute genius. So if you're not following him, you need to follow him. But thank you for being here. I super appreciate it. Archie S. Afternoon, sir. Good to see you. The Loch Ness Noncer. That is a brilliant name. Captain, the pump is happening. That's right. Hex cited together. Let's go. Let's go. Green monthly being printed. Wouldn't that be awesome? Alan Semper. Let's go, Matt. Good to see you. Today's live trading time for money. Unenchaining those captives. Mr. Lee's in the house. Crypto ethos. DeFi is the way. It's so plain to see. Base. Blessed to be here. It is the way. Because here's the thing. I don't have to convince you of something, right? You know fundamentally in your heart that there are certain things that are right and fair and true. And those either resonate with you or they don't. And this idea of your own personal sovereignty, people need to stay out of your way, and you need to literally have room to speak, to move, to transact, and to do it privately. That's fairness. That's freedom. And you see this, the heavy hand, right? It's trying to control you. You'll own nothing and be happy. They're out in the open telling you what they're doing. And you know what's amazing is we just kind of have to let it happen unless we have something like the Pulse Chain and DeFi. And how cool is it that it's the money? Because it's the absolute core thing that makes the difference. So what happens when all of these people have resources? They do something special. They serve and care for others because you don't have war powers. We need to defund this war machine. And how do we do it? We get the money out of government and the government out of money. We're just not going to work with them. That's decentralized finance. Get the government out of money and the money out of government. How? They have to come to us for it. I mean, think about this. If they hadn't set up these systems where they just auto take it out of your account, what if you had to sign something every month that said, this is the amount of taxes that they're pulling, and you had to sign it and look at it like, oh yeah, you got to sign this thing. Oh, this is how much they're pulling out. Right. And this is your tax burden. And you got to allocate it every year. If people actually saw how much of their labor goes to, prop this thing up, they'd be appalled. And there's a group that actually tracks this. And it's like you work over half of the year and maybe 3/4 of the year just to pay the taxes. Because if you think about how all of this works, man, that could be a whole stream. Agents of Change with the fire, Crypto Ninja. What's up, Crypto Ninja? Let's go. This is clearly an attack on crypto retail. We, the people, will win. Amen. Amen. DJ and Dougie Peach, team win together. Um, not leaving it in the bank. That's right. Dan Bass, Matt is always a great voice for truth. Thanks, man. Hey, I'm just trying to pump you up, right? This is the emergency pump stream, right? A smile, some energy, reminder of why we're here, and let's go. Let's go. And it doesn't just immediately go because we say it should go, but you know what? Momentum is important. My daughter plays volleyball. She's actually a very good volleyball player. And she talks about this all the time, is that there's this momentum that shifts back and forth. And if you've ever been in any other, competitive type of sport thing, you see that momentum shift. What's the catalyst for the momentum to shift? There's always some catalytic event. And so what is it? Is it a pump? Is it the people? Because think about this. There's probably a lot of people like you and me who are watching things and listening to Somi, right? We're like, keep your elbows pointy and your fluffy slippers on and get your 3 ice cubes ready for your orange juice. And so we listen to that stuff and we're like, all right, is it time? 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 Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? And people are sitting there kind of going, wait. And then this thing just goes. It just goes. Question is that now? I don't know. A lot of things in this world. But here's the coolest thing. There's a thing called Hart's Law. And what is Hart's Law? That things that are paired or bonded together move together. That's why when Bitcoin increases, Ethereum increases, and altcoins increase. Is it universal? No, but it depends on what they're paired with. The greatest thing about the Pulse chain is that PLS is so freaking low. When you are, think about this for a second. Come up with some number in your mind. What's the 2-year from today of Pulse price? Okay, make it up. Is it 100x? Is it 1000x? Now take the liquidity pool of any token that's paired with PLS and multiply that by that 100x, 1000x, or whatever. That's where things move. How they move, they go and they grow. And that's called Hart's Law. It's bonding of pairs move together. That's the beauty of this. I mean, think about the altcoin summer, right? How did Ethereum move and what was Ethereum tied to and what moved with it? Well, think of the upside of a new layer one where something's down 99%. I mean, think about anything that's starting out with liquidity paired with those things that are so low. And then this becoming the layer one of freedom and sovereignty, where it's not compromising its principles. It's not doing deals with Visa. It's not a corporation. I'm betting on the future of humanity and the truth of humanity, which is, in my opinion, freedom, sovereignty, fairness, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, because Pulse Chain is real DeFi. Right, Somi? Yes, it is real DeFi. Please like, share, and subscribe. Mobius is here. Fallen Camarade. Hello, everybody. I just want to say hello to everyone. Crispy, man. Is it an emergency if you like it? Right? No, it was an emergency to me because I'm like, I just got to get this stuff out because I haven't been in this type of mood in a long time. I remember those days of starting it out. It was such a great time to start a channel because everything was exciting. Richard had just said he was going to, fork Ethereum. That was 2 years ago. And I was so excited. And he was taking a tour. Remember when he was driving around in the Hex 1 Ferrari that has 4 seats for the ladies? And he was going around to these meetups. Remember that? And he was wearing like luggage on his body and he was talking to people in all these places. And I got to see him interact with people and see live streams and all these folks that were out there with Richard Hart. It was awesome. And of course, there's a lot of sad stories around that, right? Oh man, buying things to the top. But that's the beauty of this. What? The price you pay for the greatest performing asset is volatility. But you know what? You learn your lessons and you go. I remember talking to Crypto Panda. He's like, yeah, man, 2017, 2018. Oh, just lived through that. And he was, kind of gun shy. He's already gone through that, another pump, and now he's doing it again. Here we go. You learn these things. Actually, the person, in my opinion, that's the most prepared is Randy Hilarski. I mean, how many bear markets has that guy seen? He's like grizzled. He's literally galvanized. At 3:00 today, we're going to be doing another stream. I'll be back at 3:00 talking about Texicon. We're going to be giving away something significant that I want you to hear about. So if you're somebody that's interested in Texas independence or the Texan token, you need to be at that stream at 3. The timing, oh, it's incredible. Incredible. 80 to 90% for energy. Amy Vance, what's going on? Bought some PWBTC. So here's a question, Amy Vance. Why would anyone want WBTC, right? Why would they want the wrapped Bitcoin on the Pulse chain? What's going on in the background behind that token? You have to dig into it. You have to do your own research. But I understand why you probably did that. It's interesting. This layer one, and we got some folks that are doing stable coins, right? We've got OX Coast, right? We got that stable coin. We're gonna have Liquid Loans, USDL. There's another one, and please, I'm not trying to leave it out. I just don't recall. But the fact of the matter is, all of these tokens, right, that were copied over, they have some value now, and potentially there are some powers that be behind the scenes that want to see those things have a lot more value. You imagine that? Could you imagine that the wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse Chain pars with Bitcoin? What's it sitting at, Amy? I don't know. It's like $100. What's a Bitcoin right today? That's the opportunity of copying this over. That's why Richard said this is the greatest airdrop, right? Ever, right? The world's largest airdrop. Ash says, amen, sir. Amen, it is. Rocky, what's going on? Tail Sevens here, back again. Thanks so much for being here. I think more of my children and nieces, nephews when I stack PLS. Awesome. Poke the Ginger, thanks so much. Maybe he'll be here. He was supposed to be on a call with me at 11, so maybe if I just let this go for the next 10 minutes, he'll actually show up. AJ Rip City Hex, what's up, peeps? I'm here lurking. Alon, thanks for being back, and thanks for everyone who stuck through this bear market. It's not over, but if you think about it and you look back at the chart of Bitcoin, I mean, it potentially was in January, right? That was kind of the bottom of Bitcoin, but we've been still living with this bear market and everybody down and shooting each other in the foxhole. Let's go. Let's let that be the past and let's move forward together. And there's nothing better than green candles are the key, man. It's the best marketing that ever happened because it gives us some excitement. AJ Rip City Hex, tops and bottoms. I like big. Okay. I understand that. I dreamed I finally saw the bottom. Let's go. There you go. Let's see. Taxes theft. Amen to that. I just passed the stream to a newbie to the community. Say hey to Caleb. What's up, Caleb? This is a great first stream and intro to the community. You bet, man. Caleb, welcome. This is a place where everyone is welcome. We have a little bit of fun. I'm kind of the old crusty guy, but you got like guys like Brandon. He's gonna make fun of you. That'd be really cool. But it's like having a big brother. There's so many great people that have so many talents, that you can find something that you really like. But you learn so much and no one's charging you a damn thing. That's what I love about this community. This community is not trying to fleece you, right? They're trying to serve you because they understand that working together and considering others in addition to themselves is how we grow and win. And if you get a chance, go to a meetup. Go to TexitCon. I'll be there. Brandon will be there. A whole team of Texan Token. All these people will be there. We'll have all sorts of folks. Come and high five people. Meet them. It's this open opportunity for you to build friendships. And to me, there's nothing greater. It's been one of the most greatest blessings of my life in the last 2 years, honestly, is this community. What can I say? I'm human. Caleb, welcome to the fam. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Kadium, better late than never. Hello to you, my friend. Good to see you. Hey, a little bit of good news brings them all in. We got 94 people here, and this just goes to show you that this is what it's about, right? Green candles. If you ever wondered how things grow, it's through this. I think I was pulling 23 people the other day, and what ends up happening, you do an emergency pump stream, and you're like, hey, green candles are the key. It's the absolute key. But keep this in mind. Hex is Richard's baby. And if you've ever had a baby, you will do anything to protect that baby. And that's all I have to say. So, are your bags packed? AJ Rip City Hex, I'm passing this also to a brand new guy in crypto, Cole. Let's go, Cole. That's fantastic. Thanks for doing that. I would be happy to be the ambassador for our community and say, hey, you are welcome here. Entry point, matriculation, let's go. We will get you your green card in this community. You have to pass an IQ test though to get in, but we're welcoming. Randy, my man, what's going on? Where is that Panda? I reached out to Panda yesterday, and he did respond. He's like, "Hey, man, I'd love to come on the stream at some point, but I'm not really paying that much attention. I'm working hard, taking care of the family, and that's what a lot of people have been doing." But he will wake up as well, and so we'll bring the Panda back on. Yes, David Lee says, "Mr. Hilarski," and that's my dad. Randy is the man. Um, Texan OG day one earn protocol for PLSX will have PXDC Pulse X dollar coin as their stable from Power City. Thank you so much, Robert, for that. That's it. Power Cities also has their PXDC. So fantastic. That's the third stable coin in the marketplace. Susie Q. Oh my goodness. Susie Q's here. I heard you come into Brandon's stream the other day, and he's like, yeah, he doesn't want anyone saying anything nice to him, but I appreciate you. And this is the truth. Got to meet Susie Q and so many other positive people when we go to these events, and it's a pleasure. It's a joy. It is an absolute joy. I'm playing with the AI image tool, Absolute Absurdity. You know what's really cool? I saw the other day is now in Chat GPT Plus, you also have Dolly 3. It's in GPT-4, and it's and I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, not only it'll help you, but then it'll write the prompts for the AI imaging, and it was really cool. Now, how useful is it? We'll see. But that's another thing, folks. AI, we got so much change coming. You imagine with AI, with all these things that are happening in the world, with freaking aliens. I mean, new energy sources. We're either going to destroy ourselves completely. Jesus is going to return, or we're going to see literally this massive transformation of our society. The Bible talked about the kingdom of God. What does it look like? Folks, are you animating the tools for good or for evil? Are you trying to, store up and lord over, right? Are you trying to hoard and lord? I would recommend you don't. The beauty of this is setting the captives free. There's a story in the Bible. It talks about how a guy was forgiven his debt, like it was total debt was forgiven. And then he immediately went out and beat the guy that owed him money. When you've been forgiven something, and when you see this opportunity, it creates hopefully in you this graciousness. And that's the whole ethos of what I'm about, is unlocking generosity. Well, how do you unlock generosity? If it's locked up, it's like, hold on, I need to understand. It needs to be shown to me. What does it mean when I let go of these things? Hold on. That's when I receive. There's an abundance. That's the problem. We have this lie that there's not enough to go around. There's enough to go around, folks. And that's what we're seeing here. But we have to work together, because this thing is driven by adoption. So get out there. We're going to see tomorrow at 2:00 Central Time, we're going to see and hear from Whitney Magic. She's a superstar, and you're going to get to meet her tomorrow on The Pulse. And I'm super excited. I love it when new people are coming into the community, and she's creating a new YouTube channel, but she's been big on X, and she does coaching, and she's got the energy. And so we're going to learn about the energy. Where's the energy coming from? I love positive people, and she's like one of the most positive new people in our community. So let's go. Flip and twit, the IQ test is measured by how diamond your hands are. Isn't that the truth? Delayed gratification. Got to have a reason for holding the line. Susie Q with the love. Type in deer eats dog into AI and feast your eyes. Wow. Well, I guess we weren't successful in bringing Brandon in. So I'm going to do one last thing. This is a last ditch effort. This is like 4th down, a couple minutes to go. And this is the Hail Mary. All right, let's see if he does it. So we were supposed to have a phone call in 5 minutes. So I started the stream beforehand, prepping for my call with the man, Brandon. So the question is, will he be able to jump in and say hello? We're going to stick around for just a couple minutes. Folks, thank you so much for joining today. This is a kind of an emergency stream. I just felt like, hey, we need to pump it up. We need to get people excited about where we are and remind people where we are. So let's look at, I'm going to pull up Dex Screener and I'm going to look at and this is eHex. That's another thing. That's a whole other conversation about that. Where are we sitting? Yeah, here, let me just share this with you. It's so cool. Present screen, Dex Screener. Just seeing that. Now you can look at it a lot of different ways. You can monkey with this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's so cool to see this because what have things looked like? If I go onto the daily here, what have things looked like? What have they been like for so long? I mean, these are days and days and days and days and days and days. I mean, look at this. That's what we've been living through. Now, is it possible that this is just another? Well, you know what? You got to be optimistic. No, you don't want to be naive, but at least you got to, this is a change in what is going on in the world and all the leading indicators at some point in time, Bitcoin happening, the new year, all of these things. It has to shift at some point in time. The question is, are you ready? And I think that this is one of those things where I haven't been in this scenario. When I came into this 2 years ago, things were already pushing up. And it's like, yeah, then altcoin summer, and it was crazy, absolutely insanity. So you guys have probably heard the story, but I came into Hex, 2 days before big payday. I put $600 in. How dumb, right? I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything. I started watching Hexo and seeing all the pirates and RG3 and all these people and Maddie and Coffee and all these folks, and was just intrigued by this. I'm like, hey, this is kind of a cool group, and they're like blue collar people like I grew up, and I'm like, I like these people, and wow, this Richard Hart guy's getting a lot of pushback, and is it a scam? Is it not? And then I started listening. I'm like, hold on, he's spitting the truth. And no wonder people are interested. It's it's authentic and it's real and it's true, and he's a lot smarter than I am. So all right, I'm paying attention. But I think what does it for you is that when you catch things at the right time, right? This was altcoin summer for me. And I would come home and I would literally come to the dinner table and I'm like, that Hex thing? My wife and kids are there. I said, yeah, that thing, that $600, it's now $1,200. And she's like, that's not real money. I'm like, well, I mean, it like doubles crazy. And so every day I'd come home and it was like, seemed like it was every single day. I was like, hey, yeah, it's like, no, it's up to like $2,500. She's like, yeah, that's not real money. And then it's like 3,500 and 5,000 and 7,500 and then 11,000. And then it hit $15,000. And if you think about it, that was my daughter's birthday. She was born, she's born tomorrow, 18 years ago. And I literally said, hey, I'll prove to you that this is real money. And so my daughter turned 16 and we bought her a car. And that's the car that Hex built. You know what? Crypto has to prove it to you. So if you're new into this stuff, I mean, I when I got into this stuff, I was like, I'm not putting anything I'm not willing to lose because I didn't know anything about this community. I didn't have all that history that everybody else had with like Fluid Dynamics coin. Right. I didn't like all the stuff that Richard was doing before. I wasn't watching and following things through 2016, 17, 18. I mean, I was paying attention in 2015 and we were like, hey, should we set up a Bitcoin miner? It was funny. I remember telling Ray, I'm like, yeah, Bitcoin's at $444, I think. That was the day we were like, should we do this? And we're like, no, it'd have to go to $800 for this to be even, reasonable. Well, everybody's got a story like that of how they missed out. But you know what? When I got into this and got into this community, I didn't like back up the truck and sell the farm and like, oh, I'm going all in. Now some people did. Hey, I got a family, And so, but here's the thing. Crypto proved itself to me. And then the people reinforced what this was all about. And then I realized, hold on a second. You know what? This is a real opportunity. And then the fundraising thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but my background's in fundraising. So for 22 years, I worked with nonprofit organizations helping them raise money. And I knew that the blockchain was going to have some relevance in this marketplace. And then I saw Richard, what he did with the SENS Foundation with the Pulse sacrifice. And he said, hey, if you give to the 501c3 which is the Sens Foundation, you'll get 75% of these points. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's it. That was the inspiration. I'm like, that's it. That's the key to this whole thing. And then I heard Raoul Pal, and Raoul Pal said, we're building digital nations. This is the first time in human history where political power and financial power are separated. And I'm like, this is it. We need to tokenize existing communities. And that's all I've worked with for the past 22 years is nonprofit organizations that are like-minded. It's where trust already is. The hardest thing to do is get people to care. And what's amazing is this community of people who care. And this happened organically. Imagine a group of people that are already in community and boom, Bob's your uncle. That's the TNM. People that believe in Texas independence. And so Texas independence became this thing. And it's like, hold on a second. This is the key. Working together in community, like-minded people are building digital nations. And what is building a digital nation unless you got a big brother to help you out? Folks, he's not only the CEO, he's the CFO, the CTO, the CMO. He's the mayor of Sassy City. He's the commander of Couch Cushion Maintenance. In the islands, he's known as King Kamehameha. He's my ace in the hole. He's my Kid Creole. He's my Bob Dole. Ladies and gentlemen, the gentle ginger giant genius, Brandon from Rags to Riches.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Dude, where's your Sharpie, man?
My Sharpie? What are you talking about?
So I didn't get the story, but you looked like you were, I don't know, potentially a heavyweight boxer.
Yeah, so I'm in a fantasy league with Freddie Quotes and Black Hexagon and HP Morgan and a bunch of others. And if you get you get last place on a weekly basis, you got to get a Mike Tyson tattoo. So
okay,
I followed through,
dude. I'm proud of you for doing that.
Yeah.
Has it fully come off though?
So all right. Let me tell you the concoction. All right. So I had to use beard oil. I had to use my wife's apricot facial scrub, deep facial scrub.
You gotta be careful about admitting that.
Well, I had to use alcohol and I had to scrub my face for about 30 minutes. Then I woke up and scrubbed it some more and finally got it off. So we're good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 151 works well for getting rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
Rags, thanks for coming in, man. I just, I'm like, this is not a complete emergency pump stream unless we've got the gentle ginger giant genius Brandon from Rags to Riches. Dude, how are you feeling about this pump? What do you got to say? It better be something like nice and good.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep it real, guys. This is the grind. This is the this is the transition between bear market and bull market. So I've said this plenty of times. You'll see these 30, 40, 50, 70% pumps over the course of a week or two. And then you'll see it crack back down. But it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. We plus one a step. And we just do that over and over. And eventually, suddenly we're there. And everybody's freaking out. And it's happy. And it's cool. So we deserve it, man. We deserve some good news. That's for sure.
What do you have to say to this guy?
Jonathan Kapala, man, he could throw down that tequila. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh my gosh. Everybody's happy to see you, man. Well, I appreciate you coming in. I'm just so excited. And you know what was so cool? We got close to 100 people. I'm like, it's like the old times, Rags.
Oh god.
It had a lot of that feel to it. So anyway, thanks for coming in. I know we're going to be talking here. Folks, got a stream set up for 3:00 today where we talk about Texicon, and we got some special announcements on that. I mean, if you're somebody who is a part or interested in Texas independence, Texan token, whatever, we're doing something big there that we're going to be talking about at 3:00 today. And so I hope that you can join for that stream. And then tomorrow, do you know who Whitney Magic is, Rags? And of course he goes dark. Anyway, Whitney Magic is going to be on tomorrow at 2:00. Super excited about that. I was like fresh new faces in our community. Love. It's going to be awesome. And then Friday with Steve Staggs, we will be back with Steve-O.
Yeah, so, I know Whitney. I know Whitney. Yeah. She's she looks like something off a freaking commercial. Some of her Twitter posts. Yeah.
Well, and when she talks to the camera, I'm just like, okay, all right. I need to my energy. I need to like get connected with whatever you got. So she's got something special. It's just cool. It's cool to see people that got talent. I saw that in you. You know that, don't you?
You saw that in me?
Yeah, I saw talent.
Dude,
raw talent.
I think you're a developer of talent, Matt.
I don't think that's true. But here's the thing.
No, notice how he smiled right before he said, "I don't think that's true."
No.
There it is. There it is.
Brandon, when he first, this is the greatest thing. Our first time I reached out to, see, Brandon, you know what I miss actually about your streaming? When you first started, it was so, you would go into the comments and you would put the comments up on the screen and make fun of people. It was my favorite thing. And I'm like, this guy, because you had the greatest, I mean, you were probably the guy who could roast people better than anyone.
Yeah.
And I remember those days. So I reached out to you, and of course, you just did the same thing to me. You're like, "Yeah, I'm not coming on stream unless you
shotgun
a beer with me." So we still haven't done that, but we probably
see. I think I'm going to turn that back on once people aren't like semi jump off a bridge status. So we get back in the bull market, people will be able to handle it emotionally. I'll probably go back to that.
You know what's interesting is, you remember Groundhog Day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
Well, what is Groundhog Day? But it's like the groundhog sticks his head up, and you're like, is there going to be more? You know who our groundhog is? Sandra Larson.
Oh,
if she is in the chat, you know something good is about to happen.
Sandra's been around a while with us here, man.
She has, but she's been out, and she says, I'm so thrilled to see that you do not have a tattoo on your face.
Yeah, you sound like my mom's text this morning. She said the same thing.
Yeah, I was concerned. I was a little concerned when I saw you on stream because I thought it was a filter. I thought you had sent me that image and it was a filter from like Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then I saw you on stream and it was still there. I'm like, what in the wild world?
Dude, he put baby powder, so he Sharpied it. No, he stenciled it and then he Sharpied over the stencil and then he put baby powder on it to make it look worn. And I'm like, bro, you're going way above and beyond right now. But
who did it? Who did it?
Actually the same guy who did my Navy tattoo, one of my buddies, my buddy Danny. So shout out to Danny. He'll probably see this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. So I didn't know you could go to your tattoo artist and he would stencil on a Mike Tyson tattoo.
Oh yeah, you can shoot, man. You can do anything you want.
Sandra Larson, thanks for being here. You are our leading indicator of things are gonna be better soon.
Matt, did she say it's your birthday? Oh no.
No, it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. No, that was, yeah.
Yeah, your birthday.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining. Rags, thank you for joining. You've made my day.
Yeah, man.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Pulse Chain is the way, folks. Get your bags packed. Don't mess with Texas. Take care.